What's going on, YouTube? Thomas L here. Since tomorrow the Equalizer 2 comes to DVD and Blu-ray, and since his birthday is also this month as well, I decided to do a top 10 list of the Washington movies because he's a Oscar-winning actor. He's such a good actor. I mean, he also has a really amazing resume. So that being said, here's my 10 favorite Denzel movies. Coming in at number 10 will be The Equalizer. Now, The Equalizer is directed by Antwone Fisher and is also based on the classic TV show. Ooh, sorry. Anyway, The Equalizer I thought was really good. I mean, you also had Chloe Moretz here. Melissa Leo was in this film. Bill Pullman. It was really fun with some amazing action. Denzel played this role just perfectly. And the sequel is actually not half bad either. I'll probably talk about the sequel more tomorrow on my DVD Talk Tuesday. But The Equalizer is really good. Coming in at number 9 will be the film Antwone Fisher. Almost said Antwone Fuqua. Anyway, Antwone Fisher is a really good little film. This was the directorial debut by Denzel. And he did a pretty good job with his directorial debut. I mean, Denzel as a filmmaker, he's not a half-bad filmmaker. I mean, in the film, it's like a touching story of a sailor played by Derek Luke, who prone to violent outbursts and is sent to a naval psychiatrist played by Denzel for help. Pretty much, Denzel plays his psychiatrist here. Derek Luke was pretty good in this film. Derek Luke is a pretty good underrated actor, and this was like his breakout role. It's just that, Derek Luke been in other stuff like Captain America, 13 Reasons Why. He's a really tremendous actor. And you even had Viola Davis. She was amazing. Of course, Washington and Davis worked together on another film I want to mention later on. But yeah, Antwone Fisher is a really good and touching film. If you guys haven't had a chance to check it out yet, I highly recommend it. All right. Coming in at number 8 will be The Great Debaters. This is a completely underrated film. I mean, in the Great Debaters, it's about poet and professor Melvin P. Tolson, played by Denzel, and he teaches at a college in 1935's Texas, and he decides to start a debate team, and nearly something nearly unheard at a an all-black college. You even have people like Forrest Whitaker, Forrest Whitaker's son, Denzel Whitaker, was in this. You even had Nate Parker, Janae Smollett Bell was in this film. Nate Parker is a really good actor. I know there's like lots of controversy with Nate Parker right now, but he's still pretty good. And Forrest Whitaker was pretty good in this film. I mean, I first saw this movie back in school, and I'll watch it once in a while. I've seen it once in a while since then. It's a good, inspirational film. That's the thing about Denzel. When he directs films, it's always like very inspirational. Whether you talk about Antwone Fisher, The Great Debaters, or another film I'm going to talk about here in a bit. I mean, he does some really good inspirational stuff here, and Great Debaters is definitely, I mean, it's a really good feel-good movie. And, Denzel really don't get much credit for The Great Debaters. And lots of people, when they do favorite Denzel movies, I barely see The Great Debaters on anyone's list. It's a really good film. I mean, it got good reviews and all, but just like I guess just not a lot of people really have heard it or seen it, maybe. But it's really good. I mean, if you're probably you should probably have shown The Great Debaters. All right. Coming in at number 7 will be Fences. Now, this movie was also a directing film that Denzel did. It's fantastic. I mean, I should have had this a little higher, but to me, it's more of a. I know Denzel directed it and all, but to me, it's more of a Viola Davis movie than a Denzel film. I know that sounds weird because Denzel's also the star and the director, but Viola Davis had more of like bigger presence in the film than Denzel did. That's kind of why for best Denzel list it's a little lower here. I recently did I recently put out my favorite Viola Davis movie, and Fences actually was in in the number like in number 5 or something like that. It's a good film. I mean, it's based on a play, and it also had good performances by Washington, by Davis. Jovan Adipo, who was just in that movie Overlord, was pretty good in this. You even had Russell Hornsby, who was amazing in Hate You Give. Steven Henderson was pretty good. Mike Caltali Williamson, I always mispronounce his first name, but he was the dude from Forrest Gump. Williamson was amazing in this movie. I really dug Fences. And of course, Davis, won her Oscar for this film. Well deserved too. All right, coming in at number 6 will be the film Flight. Now, I believe Denzel also scored a Oscar nomination for this, if I'm not mistaken. Now, Flight was really good. It was directed by Robert Zemeckis, and starred Denzel as a pilot named Whit Whitaker who has problems with drugs and alcohol, and he accidentally crashes a plane, and there's a crash investigation that exposes his addiction. It has a pretty good cast. You had John Goodman. John Goodman plays like a coke addict in this film. I mean, if you ever want to see a movie where John Goodman is doing coke, watch this. You even had Kelly Raleigh, Nadine Velazquez, Don Cheadle. The plane sequence here the plane scene here was pretty intense. Denzel gave an amazing performance. Yeah, again, Denzel always gives good performances. I mean, this movie was a really good film. If you guys haven't seen Flight, I highly recommend it. Coming in at number 5 will be the film American Gangster. Now, in this, Denzel plays famed gangster Frank Lucas. You even had Russell Crowe. He was pretty good in this. Oh, yeah, Ruby Dee was in this film. And it was directed by Ridley Scott. Now, Denzel have worked with like the Scott family a lot. He worked with Tony Scott a couple times. Anyway, American Gangster is really good. Besides, D, Crow, and Washington, you also had people like Chiwetel Ejiofor, Josh Brolin, Cuba Gooding Jr. was in this. This movie was really fun, and there are some intense scenes in this as well. And I think Denzel scored an Oscar nomination for this too, if I'm not mistaken. Such a good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's really good. All right. Coming in at number 4 will be Man on Fire. Now, this film was released in 2004, and it was directed by the late great Tony Scott. You also had the likes of Dakota Fanning, Christopher Walken was in this, Mark Anthony. And in this, Denzel plays CIA operative John Creasley, who accepts the job as a bodyguard for a 9-year-old played by Dakota Fanning, who's the daughter of a wealthy businessman, Samuel Ramos, played by Mark Anthony. This movie it was really good. I mean, it was a little slow at times. It had some slow pacing, I will admit that, but it had some pretty good cinematography. Dakota Fanning was really good. Denzel, like the chemistry between both Denzel and Dakota Fanning worked out pretty well here. Really good film. Definitely give Man on Fire a go. All right. Coming in at number 3 would be the film Remember the Titans. Now, this is a football classic. This movie got released in 2000. And it was directed by Bose Akin. In the film, it's set in Virginia, Virginia, and it's about like a Virginia high school football team who's and you had Denzel as the coach in this, really pretty good. And you had some other good players here, like you had Ryan Gosling, Hayden Panettiere. This is a really good football classic. I mean, kind of like Great Debaters. If you're in school, there's a good chance you've seen Remember the Titans in school. When I was in school, during class like during our breaks and all, they'll always show Remember the Titans. It's a pretty good film. I mean, Denzel as the coach is just perfect. I mean, who doesn't want Denzel as a coach? You even had, yeah, young Ryan Gosling was even in this. It's really amazing. I mean, for every reason, if no one still haven't seen Remember the Titans, give it a go. And Denzel, of course, gave a good performance here. All right. Coming in at number 2 is the film Malcolm X. Now, Denzel as the role of Malcolm X was amazing. This movie was directed by Spike Lee. And, it's of course about, black activist and leader of the struggle, black liberation, Malcolm X. This is a really good film. Angela Bassett was, of course, good in it. You even had Ossie Davis. Angela Bassett as Malcolm X's wife, I thought worked out perfectly. That was a pretty cool casting. And Denzel, he really embodied the role of Malcolm X. When you see Denzel in Malcolm X, that you literally don't see Denzel. You literally see Malcolm X. Kind of like how you see how in Lincoln you see just Abraham Lincoln instead of Daniel Day-Lewis. That's the same with Malcolm X. And I think Denzel either won or got nominated for. I think he won. I don't remember if he won for this. I'm pretty sure he did win his award for Malcolm X. I gotta double check that, but overall, him as the role of Malcolm X, amazing. I mean, if he didn't win, it's a shame because Denzel, that's definitely one of his best performances. If I was to do the best Denzel performances, Malcolm X probably would have been number 1. But my number 1 favorite. All right, coming in at number 1 for my favorite Denzel movies. My number 1 favorite Denzel movie of all time is Training Day. This movie was, of course, also directed by Antwone Fisher. It was a really good cop team up with Denzel and Ethan Hawke. Now, this was a movie that Denzel won his Academy Award for. That I definitely remember straight off of my head. You even had Ava Mendes, Tom Berenger, Snoop Dogg was also in this. Macy Gray, I believe, was in this too. Training Day is a really good film. I mean, Denzel he was a really good badass cop. Although that's a cop you would not want to have on the streets in real life. I also really like the chemistry between both Ethan Hawke and Denzel. Their chemistry was really on point. Now that CW version of Train Day was alright. I mean, the late great Bill Paxton was good and all, but the chemistry wasn't as good as the chemistry between Ethan Hawke and Denzel. Their chemistry was much better, in my opinion. And Antwone Fisher, of course, did a good job at directing. I think this was like Fuka's breakout film, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, it's really good. For whatever reason, if you've never seen Training Day, give it a go. It's a really good cop film. Alright, that's pretty much it for my 10 favorite Denzel Washington movies. Let me do the quick rundown. Number 10, The Equalizer. 9, Antwone Fisher. 8, The Great Debaters. 7, Fences. 6, Flight. 5, American Gangster. 4, Man on Fire. 3, Remember the Titans. 2, Malcolm X. 1, Training Day. Now, I could have probably had loads of other stuff. I mean, Denzel list is really hard to make. I mean, he had Safe House was actually not all that bad. The one he did with Ron Reynolds. Inside Man was pretty good. The Magnificent Seven. John Q, he was really good in. Glory. Deja Vu. Fallen, which also had John Goodman. Unstoppable. He was terrific in Philadelphia. Maybe I could have added that one. The Hurricane. Taking a Pound 1, 2, 3, where John Travolta was good. The Manchurian Candidate. The Siege was okay. The Pelican Brief was alright. Courage Under Fire. The Mighty Quinn he was in. Ooh, definitely not Veracity. Which also had Russell Crowe in it. You know, Russell Crowe and Denzel being in the movie American Gangster, I think that was a makeup for being in Veracity. Virtuosity, well, whatever. Devil in the Blue Dress was pretty good. Soldier Story, which I believe was his first feature film. Mississippi, Mazala was pretty good. He's been in lots of interesting stuff. Denzel barely, he's done some bad stuff, but he barely does bad stuff. I mean, I could picture just very few bad films he's done in the past years, but he's done more good stuff than bad stuff, to be honest. Let me leave it to you guys. What are your favorite Denzel Washington movies? Drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is Thomas L. signing off.